Hello, I like diseases. More importantly, I like interesting diseases. The ones that make people go crazy. Diseases that make animals kill themselves. Diseases that eat your brain, and so forth. Today, I'm going to show you some of my favorites using this wholesome meme format I found online. Toxoplasmosis is caused by a parasite called Toxoplasma gondii, a pathogen that can only reproduce sexually in cats. Other animals can host toxo and become infected, but the parasite must make it back to cats to continue its life cycle. Toxoplasma gondii has therefore evolved some very strange abilities to overcome this obstacle. Toxo has shown to change the behavior of many rodents. For example, uninfected rats are shown to avoid areas with cat urine because they evolved to not want to be near a cat's territory. However, rats infected with toxo are actually not afraid of the cat urine, and it's not like this for all animals. These rats seem to actually prefer cat urine to urine of other carnivores. For long-time viewers of this channel, this isn't unthinkable. One of my first videos was about suicidal animals in nature, where I talked about a fungus among us called Ophiocordyceps unilateralis that infected ants and caused them to commit suicide on top of a leaf at a certain height facing a certain direction. There the ant dies, and the fungus grows a mushroom between the head and the neck of the ant. Toxoplasma gondii acts in a very similar way to this fungus, by taking control of the dopamine receptors of the rats and causing them to be less anxious. Toxo also hijacks the amygdala, changing the way genes are expressed, making the rats less afraid of cats in particular. This causes the rats to venture near wild cats, where the cats eat the rat and the toxo is able to once again reproduce sexually. Good for the toxo, good for the cat, bad for the rat. The truth hurts. So, rats infected with toxo make themselves available to cats so that Toxoplasma gondii can continue its life cycle. But what about toxo in humans? Humans can get Toxoplasma gondii by eating undercooked food infected with toxo, or they can come in contact with it from their cat's litter box. Because toxo has been a disease humans have been in contact with for at least 500,000 years, human infections aren't usually that bad. Toxoplasmosis can cause cysts in the muscles, heart, and brain that are mostly benign in adults. However, toxoplasmosis in infants can be fatal and can cause abortions in pregnant women. This is why you're not supposed to scoop the litter box when you're pregnant, because contracting toxoplasmosis while pregnant can cause severe birth defects, if not death, to your child. There has been some speculation of whether or not toxoplasmosis causes women to turn into crazy cat lady archetypes, since toxo does infect the brain of humans in some rare cases. But the evidence for this seems pretty weak, although it would be pretty cool if that were true. And along with cat ladies, the rate of toxoplasmosis in people diagnosed with schizophrenia is 2.5 times that of the average population. Many people have speculated that this might be due to the brain cysts that toxoplasmosis can sometimes cause. However, I personally find it more comforting to believe that schizophrenic people are just more likely to eat cat poop. Nagleria fowleri is colloquially known as the brain-eating amoeba and is found in warm bodies of water such as your swimming pool. It usually eats bacteria, but if you were ever to suck water up your nose, the bacteria can make its way up to your brain where it can cause a fatal infection known as Nagleriosis. You can also contract it by drinking water out of Versa water filters, so don't use those, you idiot. It's called the brain-eating amoeba because it consumes neurons in your brain and body, which means any neurological symptoms at all could be symptoms of N. fowleri. Have fun with that knowledge. It takes anywhere from 1 to 9 days for symptoms to appear, and once they appear, virtually all cases are fatal. Thankfully, fowleri is an increasingly rare disease now that all our drinking water is chlorinated, except for Switzerland. Necrotizing Fasciitis is a bacteria known as the flesh-eating disease because it eats your flesh. It is caused by certain pathogens getting through a cut or a burn in your skin, where it multiplies and eats your soft tissues like your muscles and fat. It is extremely fast-moving and can kill in less than 12 hours. The only treatment is to cut away infected tissues and use a combination of highly volatile antibiotics. Because it is unknown which bacteria is causing which fasciitis cases, even if treatment is started, it can be ineffective. Between 25 and 35% of all necrotizing fasciitis cases are fatal. Necrotizing fasciitis has been described back since the days of Hippocrates, 2,400 years ago, and has been documented ever since. And on average, there are 1,000 cases of necrotizing fasciitis in America each year. Rabies is a viral disease that causes inflammation of the brain in humans and other animals. Once bitten by a rabid animal, it can take anywhere from 1 to 3 months for symptoms to appear. This is due to the distance the virus must travel to reach the central nervous system. However, once symptoms occur, rabies is almost universally fatal. Some of the symptoms of rabies are fever, confusion, salivation, and fear of water. These last two are interesting because it's another example of a virus hijacking the host's brain. Here's a video of a man that contracted rabies. As you can see, he can hardly bring the water close to him, let alone swallow it. This is an evolutionary benefit of rabies because if a person can't swallow their saliva or drink water, it allows the rabies virus to proliferate in the animal's saliva, so that if the animal bites another animal, the rabies infection is much more likely to occur. Say what you want about rabies, but I've always found stuff like this to be incredibly fascinating. Too bad this guy died. On a brighter note, rabies is virtually wiped out in all developed countries due to the rabies vaccine for animals and for humans. However, worldwide, there are more than 60,000 deaths caused by rabies, usually in more underdeveloped countries. Kuru is a rare, incurable, and fatal neurodegenerative disorder that was formerly common among the 4 people of Papua New Guinea. Kuru is a disease that is spread by prions, which are abnormally folded proteins. These prions then replicate where they lead to neurodegeneration. Kuru is spread through these indigenous peoples, which number about 20,000, and there have been about 1,000 deaths in the past 100 years, which is about a 20th of their current population. So why is the rate of Kuru so high? I'm glad you asked. When a member of their tribe dies, it is a ceremony to cannibalize the dead member, especially the brain. When these people eat the brain of a fallen citizen that had contracted Kuru, they in turn ingest the very same prions that cause this disease. Kuru derives from the 4-word to shake, although it has also been called the laughing sickness due to the maniac laughing that infected people are witnessed doing due to the degenerative nature of the disease. The first stage of the disease is subtle discoordination and slight ataxia. It doesn't affect them too much, so this stage isn't really viewed that badly. While the second stage, on the other hand, shows extreme loss of the ability to control their muscles. Also, emotional instability and depression are associated with this secondary stage, despite the sporadic laughter. The final stage of Kuru involves the complete loss of muscular control, like the ability to speak, and many people in this stage become unresponsive to their surroundings, despite the fact that their conscious mind is relatively unaffected. From the first stage to the last can be anywhere from 5 to 20 years. However, there is also a large latency period after first contact with the prions. So, have fun that this horrifying disease comes from uncivilized people eating a dead person's brain. Bye everybody.